and welcome to or welcome back to Erin Twibbles Around Aimlessly. I'm Erin, and on this channel, I talk about my husband Gary and I's journey to pay off all of our consumer debt in the year 2021. And so this channel is just a way for me to maintain motivation and accountability and share a few of the things that we're doing that other people might find helpful themselves. And a bit of a different video today, and that is I want to talk about one of my savings challenges, and that is my Roundup challenge. And I've had a few questions from people about how I do that, how do I track that, how did I come about doing it? And so many of us who work with a budget, whether it's a formal budget or informal, or even if you ever just work with cash, most of us have a change jar, right? So that is somewhere where all of the loose change gets thrown. I swear that having a change jar was started by men, not women, because if they are anything like my husband and most of the men I know, they hate having change in their pockets. My husband will hand me his change instead of putting it in his pocket, or when we get into the car, the first thing is he dumps it out. Whereas for me, I'm a mom. Granted, my son is an adult now, but large handbags, we are all about it. We move from a baby bag to a large handbag, and you name it, you are going to find it in a mom's handbag. And if not, just ask the mom next to her. Anything from a sewing kit, Kleenex, Tylenol, the odd rock or insect that gets dropped in there by your child, it's in the bag, or it's in a bag in the bag. And so adding a handful of change really doesn't impact it all that much because we're used to having them so heavy. But so most people have a change jar, or at least had one up until this past year. There was probably a switch a little bit before then, but definitely in this past year with the response to the pandemic, and a lot of stores and retailers moved away from accepting cash, particularly with their cashiers. They did maybe with self-checkout still have it, but very few of those would accept cash. They really preferred to have electronic transfers. And so a lot of people started moving to electronic or digital envelopes. And when you have digital envelopes and everything is done electronically, you're not getting any of that change anymore. Nothing is going into the change jar. Or if you do other challenges, such as if you do a $5 note challenge, which is where anytime you get a $5 note back, you put that to the side. I have seen some people that do a $10 note challenge. So anytime they get a $10 note or bill, they put that into a savings envelope. And so this is really a way that I modify that change jar or that $5 note challenge, which are the two that I do, into a digital format. That, and I like having rounded numbers ending in zero in my bank account. I prefer how it looks. So I wanted to walk through how I keep track of it, and it's actually quite easy. I do it in two ways. First, up top, I have our income tracker. And so this is from just about 2 weeks ago. My husband's pay, his comes out to $1,017.49. So I take the $7.49 and I just move that over to the side. So that's the number that I enter over here. And I do this with my paycheck as we get any other additional income. So we had some additional income here of $76. We recycle cans and plastic bottles. We have a coins for container program here in Brisbane. And so we do that. My husband has one set up at work. So people at work will drop in their recyclables. He just brings that home each week. I used to do the same when I was going into the office, and we just drop those off, and the numbers really add up. So it's not a side hustle. In fact, I don't even really like the term hustle because hustle implies busy, and busy is not cute. I think people should strive to be less busy and less hustly in their lives and actually live life to enjoy life and not live life to get things done really quickly always. That's just me. So we had, looks like it would have been $77.80. I took $1.80 out of that. I actually should have taken $2.80, rounded that down to 75, because $1 and $2 here are coins. So these are what our coins look like. So the small gold coin is $2. The large gold coin is $1. The large silver is 50 cents. Then next is the 20-cent piece, then a 10-cent piece, and then lastly a a 5-cent piece. And one thing you will notice is we do not have a 1-cent piece. We do not have pennies in Australia. Everything, even if you're at the markets and if your total comes to say $10.98, they will either round it up to $11 or they will round it down. Well, with 98 cents, they would round it up to $11. If it was 96 or 97 cents, they would round it down to 10.95, and then you would get a 5-cent coin back. They just got rid of the 1 cent for cash. But if you use a debit card, it does deduct the exact amount. So income is rounded. Technically, it's rounded down, even though I have it in the round up column. Now, this is a column that I have. This is in my Excel sheet, but when I was using and I still use my paper trackers at first, because there wasn't room, I just wrote it over here on the side. And so you can see where I put those amounts. When I started making my own, I actually included an actual column to where I could write that in. So I do that for income, and then I also do it for all of our savings as well. So on the 7th of March, went to Kmart. This was a health expense. Health is a digital. It was $76. So I still put what the actual amount was over here on the side. And then over here, I just calculated 80 minus 4. So I put in the amount that is rounded. I don't put in the actual amount, but I track it on the side. Same with, I missed one. So this one would be $20. So just in equals 20 minus 18.95. Look at that. You guys are helping me find some extra money. Got an extra dollar there. And that's it. I just go through with each one. So this is what I keep in my ledger for my calculations. This is what the actual amounts were. So if things do get tight, I know that there are some areas that I can go back and change. Here's another example, the pool, another one that I missed. Yay, more money. So 20 minus 1890, and it would be exactly the same in a calculator. You just punch in the numbers and then put the difference over to the side. So $1.10. Now I know this is only going to be $18.90 every week. So every week I'm going to get $1.10. And then when I start getting down to cash, there's not really anything because those have gone into my coin jar. And then one last one down here. To track all of it, you just add everything up. What I have is just a sum formula. So for this week, I had an extra $35.25. This is what I send over to our spare fund account. And again, you can go up just to the nearest dollar. You can go up to the nearest $5. I just work on the nearest $5 because that matches our coin system. So if I was in Canada, I would do similar in Canada, or if I was in New Zealand, I would do similar in New Zealand. If I was in the US, I would probably do a $1 note challenge where I just wouldn't hold on to most of the ones, and the change would also go in the side. Now, does this mean that I don't ever use any change? Absolutely not. I still keep probably about $10 in gold coins on me at any given time. One, because I know that I'm going to need one for a trolley at Aldi. And second, because I get really annoyed because I do the $5 note challenge. So if I were to go and purchase something and it were to come out to $10.50, I would get $4.50 in change and then a $5 note. And so all of that money would be put aside into those challenge savings, which is nice because it adds up quickly, but it also drains those cash envelopes pretty darn quickly as well. That is why with fuel, I do not do a $5 challenge, because just a few of those, just 5 times rounding up is enough to wipe out $25, and $25 fills up the mistress with a tank of gas one time, which she usually needs fuel when she's on the road. She needs fuel 2 or 3 times per week. So you can see how that would be detrimental in that case. So I just kind of try it in different areas, and I learned that by trial and error as well. I was like, oh crap, we're out of fuel money. Where did it all go? And I'm harping a little bit on my husband. I'm like, are you sure that you didn't miss giving me a receipt or anything like that? And then I looked at all the rounding up and I was, sheepishly just like, oops, sorry, my bad. So again, because I'm a detail-oriented person, that's why I like to keep track of what the actual amounts are. That's really kind of what I look at in terms of prices increasing, decreasing, etc. But then I like the look of all even numbers as compared to all over the place numbers. So quick and simple of what it is we're doing is that I started doing this well over a decade ago, and it's way back with a checkbook even, where I would just round up. I would always round up the change. It was really all that we could really afford. And I called it a slush fund. And that slush fund is what became, I guess now I would call it a cushion. And some people keep track of their cushions, some people don't. I like to keep track of where my cushion is, because if it gets over a certain amount, I'm going to transfer the money out of there. And I would do that there as well. So it would be, 5 cents here, maybe 90 cents there. But over the course of the year, it adds up just the same as your change does, to where you might end up with 100 or a couple $100, because we have so many, because our $1 and $2 note are in coin change jar. At the end of the year, I think last year we ended up with close to $1,500 in change. I don't think we'll be that much this year because we've moved quite a bit more to digital, but we'll still have a decent chunk of change in there. And then our $5 challenge, which I don't look at that. Once I put those into their envelope, I don't look at it again. And at the end of the month, I take the envelope and I tape it closed. So that will not be opened until the end of November, the beginning of December. And that will be our big December surprise. Last year, we used it for extra Christmas type stuff. This year, most likely, if we're close to paying off the loan, it will go to that. So if you're looking for a relatively simple, easy challenge to do, I know in the US, a lot of people have roundup apps, or they might be using things like Acorn, or you guys have heaps of different options. I just put mine into a savings account. I do keep track of it throughout the year as well, so I'll know what my total is at the end of the year. I don't track it on a week by week basis of, oh, here is how much we have, because for some things I just like the element of surprise. And sometimes if I tell myself that I don't know how much money is there, if I don't know how much is there, I can't spend that money as well, because I do like to spend money. I like to buy additional things, and I like to buy a lot of artisan type things as well. So it keeps me in check. And it's just, now for me, it's just habit. So if it's something that you want to give it a go. Try it for a couple weeks or try it for a month. See if you notice any noticeable differences. Do you really miss having that change? Just like you would, do you miss having it in your handbag, even if you don't notice a difference in weight? You can easily track it against your bank statement, so this would work even if you use a credit card, right? Because that is still an electronic purchase. So just round up the price, you pay off the amount that you actually owe to the credit card company each week or at the end of the month, and then you take that difference and you can put it aside. So it's really flexible, can be applied in a lot of different ways. If you give it a go, just let me know in the comments, or if you do something similar, how that works for you. How long have you been doing it, and what is an estimate of the amounts that it comes out to? Or are you like me, to where you just like to be happily surprised at the end of either the quarter or the half year or the year with the amount that is in there? As always, remember, choose kindness, show gratitude, always keep a positive mindset, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.